Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Drinks with Dig. Tonight,
Woo!
woo, we're gonna insert a pause and we're gonna get a soundboard. It's gonna be legit.
Oh, dude, yeah, I've definitely been doing my research on those. I had asked Matt for background music, and we just like went to this like same continuous spiral where I said to him, I was like, "So what you're meaning to tell me is I need a Gene Belcher soundboard because I literally said that last week. So I just think that the cosmos have aligned. Like it's gonna be happening
Bunch of
sooner or
farts.
later."
Yeah, either that one or we need the same one for God, what was the name of the radio personality on Parks and Recreation?
Oh, he's
Oh man,
it's Nick Kroll. I just saw him
yeah,
yesterday.
the something and the douche.
He's the douche.
Hold
Yeah.
on, let me look it up. I feel so legit with an actual laptop. Let's see what it is. Uh,
Yeah, I was rewatching the episode yesterday where they're trying to find a mayor and he's one of the candidates or whatever. But then even in the interview, he's got like an app that does the soundboard. Oh, I should just download an app.
yeah, no, I was totally thinking that, but then I was just like, whatever.
I forget things could be easy.
That is very true. I don't know why this isn't instantaneously. Crazy Ira and the douche.
There's always a sound that plays after that, and it
Yeah.
didn't feel right.
Like, I will be my own soundboard.
Yes.
Good stuff. And of course, you guys know Julia, the co-host, Julia Gulia.
That's me.
Yes, the ghost with the most. So tonight, guys, we decided that we were gonna go ahead and do urban legends, and it's July, so naturally, Halloween.
Yes, dude. I walked into what was it, Michael's the other day, and it was right when I walked in. I looked over and I saw pumpkins galore, and I was like, "This is the first time it's happening. It feels so nice."
It's the first. No, and I sent out a tweet the other day. I just said I can't wait for fall. I could wear my snarky T-shirts with the cute blazer. Like,
Oh yes, I miss cardigans.
yes, absolutely. But yeah, so I just figured that this would be something kind of fun because you guys know that I am Hispanic of Mexican origin, and everybody's got their own fucking rancho stories and shit like that, where everybody just gets like scared as fuck. And yeah, but I thought this would be so fucking fun because it's good shit, man. It's good quality. It's just so good.
It's like campfire stories
Oh,
and stuff
fuck
like
yeah.
that. Where you're like, "Oh shit,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna sleep well tonight."
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I'm totally watching The Simpsons after you leave, so I can
Oh.
like ease into slumber.
That I actually have a little something for you later that might not be the case.
Damn it. Okay, cool. All right, so Julia's actually going to start us off on this episode because she wanted my natural reaction to this stuff because we were just going to stick to an old format, let's say, for that. And yeah, she was like, "No, I really want your take on these." So she hasn't told me any of these of what they are, and I'm okay with that because I'm just like, I live for the element of surprise. I know I've mentioned that several times on the show. So I'm going to go ahead and let Julia kick this shit off.
All right. This first one that I
excuse me.
have, it's it wouldn't
That
be drinks
wasn't
with
it. It wouldn't be
Dag.
Drinks with Dag without the burp, man.
That's how you start a podcast.
Hello.
So okay, this first one that I have for you, it
Mhm.
first kind of originated in the 1950s, but it really kind of took its own in the 1970s or whatever.
Oh, word.
It's an urban legend that I'm sure there's a good probability you've actually heard it, or like some people have, because I swear like every other year when it's Christmas time, this just gets talked about. Like
Krampus?
Nah, fam.
I love me some Krampus.
No, so okay. I'm sure, well, I say I'm sure, but there's the whole story of it's a man who just kind of like chills underneath your car, and he waits for, like, it's typically women, right? And he'll wait for you. All the stories I saw, it's like usually takes place in a mall, so that's why like when Christmas shopping happens, it's always like a thing that makes itself to the news. But it's like So the guy's sitting underneath the car, right? And he's just
Right.
chilling. And you're like, unsuspectingly, like, oh, cool. I just bought like a 2 for 10 sale at Hot Topic. I gotta go home so I can take some MySpace pics.
Those were the days.
So you're about to hop in your car, but it's like it's like 2008, whatever. I don't care.
We love to.
And so you actually have to use a key to get into your car.
Yeah. Because let's face it, guys, we did not grow up. Side note, sidebar. We didn't grow up having the best of the best cars. I literally learned how to drive in my dad's 94 Civic, and that bitch is still alive.
Yeah, my first
Thank
car was
God.
older than me. I loved it.
Yeah.
It was a trooper. But yeah, so then as the woman's getting into the car, the guy
Mhm.
like slices her ankles. So where this becomes an urban legend, I mean, because that in and of itself, like the story is weird, the origin of it very unknown. But what's like, okay, there's different scenarios of it. It's where the guy is either doing it because he's trying to steal the car,
Uh-huh.
or he's going to do something more sinister to the woman, or it's like something that gangs do to like initiate someone, right? When I was doing research, I saw all different kinds of versions kind of plugging into that.
That's how we initiate people.
But what's like scary about it is that like it's super plausible. Like,
That sounds like some real life shit. Like,
dude,
I think I don't know, dude. Like, I deal with a bunch of horror things in my life, like the art of horror and movies, and you know that whole thing of creepy goblins, all that good stuff. I live for it, you know that. And uh, there are certain things that I can't do, and I can't willingly watch without like fucking cringing. Is watching any part of anybody's foot
oh yeah,
get
dude,
dismantled.
they do that
Thanks,
in
Kill
Pet
Bill.
Cemetery. Yeah, it's like it's literally one of those things
That's
that makes
why
me
I
want to
cringe.
just.
Why do you think I cringe when I watch fucking Home Alone?
Oh yeah.
When what's his face is going up the damn
Stairs
stairs,
and the
yeah, I
nail.
was like, nope, fast forward real quick.
Yeah, that part is.
I just can't.
Too much, especially because like when I was a kid, I feel like I like stepped on tacks so more often than I do as an adult.
I think that's why now I have to wear like fucking chanclas everywhere because I can't fit that whole thought. Like you'll see me if I'm ever barefoot, you'll see my feet go outward. Like I'll be on the outside.
Oh yeah,
of my
so
feet.
like surface areas.
Yeah,
like,
I can't. Like even in the sand, I'm like,
Bah,
bless.
Dude, I literally there's a Texas City like pier thing or something.
At the dike.
Yes, that's what it is. I was walking with my sister and my brother-in-law and Frank. He was still alive at the time, and Frank's a dog for anyone listening.
Oh yeah, dude, Frank was the best, man. He was there in all my drunken times. He was the fucking bee's knees, man. I love that dog.
Yeah, he's an OG.
Rest in peace, homie. This episode's for you.
So, yeah, we were like walking, and I like just like I mean, it was like I was walking on the sand. Everything was fine. It was wet, but it was like cool, copacetic. I wasn't sinking, and then all of a sudden, I was to my knee in mud, and like I just like it was like quicksand, like I fell in it, and I was like, oh shit, I can't get out of this. But underneath where I like was, like I mean my foot is like that's probably like from my knee to like my foot is probably a foot change long.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And wherever on the bottom my second toe, whatever that guy's name is,
Yeah.
the right hand man. There was a piece of glass down there and it sliced it twice. It was like it cut my toe and then underneath the cut. Sorry. Oh, but yeah, it was a fucked up situation.
Shit.
Yeah.
Fuck
But
yeah.
yeah, any foot thing like that, I'm like, nah, man. And that when I first started driving, I remember hearing that like whole tale again. And I remember hearing it when I was a kid. My mom used to talk about it. And it was always just so scary, like because you know, you hear some things where you're like, oh, that's like kooky, or like, oh, that would only happen in like one place. Or,
Right.
like,
Definitely.
someone would just have to be off their rocker, but it's such a plausible way, like, you know, you're underneath someone's car, you're well hidden, like, if you
That's
scope out
why-
the place long enough and, like, have an opportune moment, like, that's such a real life thing.
It really is, and that's kind of fucking scary. Well, that's why I check the backseat of my fucking vehicle
Oh, yeah, dude.
every single time. I was like, how do you guys not know this? And there was like this one story. It happened in like Northwest. I don't know. It happened in the North Side. Everybody knows we don't give a fuck. But anyway, so it happened there, and I really wanted to follow up with the story, but I'm kind of pissed at myself that I didn't. This woman, somebody was in the back of her fucking car and tried to strangle her with a fucking phone cord from fucking 1998. I'm like, who has this?
They had it
Guys,
on Radio Shack.
No, seriously, this was probably right whenever Radio Shack was having everything on sale. And
I'm a
they're
thrifty
going out of
killer.
it, liquidation, like.
Oh no.
Sale. Like, you know what I mean? And they have the fucking wacky inflatable guy.
But he's got a knife.
Yeah, but he's got a knife, and he's like, come and check these killer prices.
Oh
But
no.
no, she actually got strangled by a
Did
fucking
she survive?
phone cord. I don't know. I hope she did.
Dude, that's so scary. That's like
What was this urban legend called, though?
this. Okay, so this I've always heard it's just like, oh, the man who hides under your car and slices your ankles, right?
They didn't give him a-
But they call him like the mall slasher. That's what I kept seeing was like, or they would call it like the urban legend was called either the mall or mall slasher,
Mall slasher.
which is such like a after school special serial killer name.
Yeah.
You know, like no thought put into this.
Like that does like it's crazy because it sounds like it's legit, but also at the same time it's like I'd rather watch Goosebumps.
Oh yeah. Do you know what's funny about it though? Like because it is so believable in like the early 90s, there was articles from like the Chicago police where there's like, please stop calling us about this. It's not real. We've checked into it many
Shut
a time.
The fuck up.
There was like actual outrage from their
Oh
department.
my
If you check
God.
what was it? It was like a one from 1991, I think. And yeah, I saw it in a couple places. It was wild. Like, geez, guys.
Jesus Christ. Oh fuck.
But that's just like that's scary. Like urban legends that are believable are super terrifying to me because I'm like, I don't know if this happened, but I know it could happen. And
So ladies, just be careful this holiday season. I would say, you know what? In the words of A Day to Remember, disrespect your surroundings, okay? If a motherfucker want to try to come at me with some bullshit underneath my fucking truck, I'm like, I hope you fix the problems that are under there while you're there.
yes, I hope you're a
Because
mechanic.
at least if I'm gonna die with dignity, knowing that my fucking truck was fixed. You know what
This
I mean?
is why I keep my oil leak in my car. It's just in case.
It's like, this is just a problem within itself. I don't even want to know what this girl's gonna be like when I try to murder her.
And she
So I was
says,
like, oh, welcome to my previous relationships. Like,
it's a hot mess express.
oh, hello. Hop in.
Buckle up, buckaroo.
Welcome to the shit show.
Uh,
Welcome to Thunderdome.
I love a good plot twist when someone's trying to kill you, but you just destroy their lives.
By simply talking. Apparently, as the last couple of hopefuls, you know.
Ah, shit.
Yeah, but ladies, seriously, a day to remember, disrespect your surroundings. Like, fuck that dude up. Seriously.
Seriously.
Well, let me chime in with some little Mexican wisdom over here.
Ooh,
you
I'm
guys
excited.
know that when these stories get told at the rancho, some shit's about to go down, and everybody's like, I'm down for like hearing ghost stories like all the fucking time. But I think it's because of the fact that I am Hispanic and I am Mexican that those stories just kind of like hit a little harder because you're just like, fuck. Everybody, and that's the one thing, guys, that I love about urban legends, especially like Mexican or Hispanic urban legends, is the fact that everybody has their own. And I am not too acquainted with the regular just like urban legends in general. Like I've read about them, I've read up on them, I've done my research, things like that. But I haven't really met a lot of people and I don't know if I just need to like reach out more to more people. But I guess because family is like also a big thing, that Mexican urban legends are just like so fucking insane. Like if you ask people about the chupacabra, which is what I'm about to introduce right meow, is that everybody has their own fucking story with this shit. Same thing with La Llorona, same thing with fucking oh my god, that was another one I was gonna read. The fucking lechuzas and shit like that. Like everybody has fucking stories for days, and that's cool. I'm fucking down for that. That's why I was like, man, I just need to bring some fucking Mexican flavor. I need to bring some fucking salsa.
Yes, and also
You know?
like I need a crash course because my like pasty ass doesn't
Yeah.
know. Like I really just like didn't get
Yeah.
exposed to this other than like just
And it's so
the end of it.
exciting because it's like me and Julia have been friends for 10 plus 15 at this point, I think. We're close. We're hitting that mark.
Yeah.
Pretty much
Yeah.
in our friendship, and it's like me and Julia have hung out many of times with each other's families, but I don't think it's also on my bucket list to bring Julia with me to my cousin's ranch so we can talk about
Yes.
these scary stories, and she'll be there just like so excited. And
I'll
my
be there
friend-
like Aaron from Ghost Adventures and
Yeah.
just be like, I got my walkie-talkie, I got the camera, I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
Let's find them. Like, don't talk, let's go. That's how I felt when I went to Oregon, and I was like, Bigfoot,
Yeah.
you
What
close?
up? What up?
Hey.
No, so basically the chupacabra is the equivalent of Sasquatch, but in Mexican culture.
Oh,
Okay.
really? I thought he was more like dog-like.
No, okay. So he is the equivalent. Like, you know how
Oh, like
Um,
scary animal.
yeah,
basically.
scary
Okay.
animal type of thing. Yes. So
I will say, sorry to cut you off,
no, you're good.
but to that point, and I just have to be that guy. But in Scooby Doo's depiction of El Chupacabra, it is very like Sasquatch-esque.
yeah, no, period.
Also,
Because-
that album, like their soundtrack album to Monsters of Mexico, is a certifiable bop. I'm
It's a
sorry, you just
banger.
needed to know.
They're all bangers for sure. So shout out real quick to Wikipedia and Encyclopedia Britannica for these.
Kicking it old school,
Yeah.
bro. I love it.
I really did. I was like, I've gone on YouTube. I've heard plenty of but the thing is that nobody on those YouTube videos had given such a like the history. Like and that's what I said. I love that everybody has stories about this. I love that everybody has their own experience with this. And I would love to hear that. But I'm on my show, so I need cold hard facts. I need to know origins. I need to know
Yeah.
history, things like that. So I fucking kicked it. Even though Wikipedia for a long time was not a credible source in my book, I kicked it that way today. I'm sorry, Mr.
Let's just
Labua.
also talk about that real quick. I think that's a scam conspiracy. Actually, put it on another conspiracy part 2, because I think that's just shit that fucking teachers said so we would just do extra work. Because Wikipedia these days is really doing the extra mile to make sure things are
I
a
think
little
now
better.
they're becoming. I think they got word from Labua,
Oh, absolutely.
and so they're like, we gotta like state our sources.
Oh shit! Like just throw in a triangle.
to the
thing.
audience if you guys do not know who Mr. Labua is, and why that joke was really funny.
Really, honestly, that needs to just be a whole episode. in
It
and
really
of
does.
itself.
I need to bring him on the show. That's the only
Yes.
thing. Okay, so we're gonna switch over to El Chupacabra. So basically, from what Wikipedia said was that they were translated as like a goat sucker. Weird, aware. Because chupar in Spanish or like in Latin or whatever is to suck.
Mhm.
That's why we call people chups. And cabra means goat. So it's both known. That's why they called it that, because the first, excuse me, this actually originated in Puerto Rico in 95. So this is actually a relatively newer thing.
What a fucking plot
What a
twist!
fucking, yeah, no, seriously. So this happened in March of 1995. I thought chupacabras, like, honestly, when I'm hearing about this shit growing up, I thought this shit was like fucking from my grandparents and
Yeah,
stuff like that,
passed down through the ages.
Yeah,
kinda thing.
exactly. I'm pretty sure that they had seen them before from the stories that my uncles have told me, my tias, shit like that. And I thought it was like before, but apparently the reason why it was marked, I guess, in 1995 was because 8 sheep were discovered dead. And it wasn't like, oh, some fucking fox came in there and like fucked some shit up or whatever. But each of those fucking sheep were had 3 puncture wounds in the chest area. And according to the people who worked on that farm or whatever, they were completely drained of blood. Like nothing was left.
Dude, I've seen certain just stuff on YouTube, people like, oh, we're gonna search for them, or they'll specifically talked about like events like that where animals are just completely drained of blood, and like they'll be like, is it Dracula? They're like, no, but then there's like this suspect hair or
I
something.
feel like if I'm ever in those situations, I would be very Claudia in Interview with the Vampire and just be like, I'll get rid of the body. she's goals, dude. She's goals as fuck. But also a few months later, like August-ish, there were some eyewitnesses reporting that they were seeing the creature in this town in Puerto Rico called Canovanas. So, which is as many as 150 total farm animals and pets were reportedly killed. So, let's take it back to 1975. They said that there were killings just like that in the small town of Moca, where they were attributed to the original naming of this creature. It's called El Vampiro de Moca.
Oh, hell yeah.
So it was called the Vampire of Moca. And initially, it was suspected killings of a satanic cult.
Yeah,
which is what they thought. Yeah. So they were like, okay, these things have to go like one, like they go hand in hand, basically. And because a lot of there was a lot of like brujeria and santeria and shit like that. That guys, this isn't just from Mexico. Like santeria exists like every fucking where on the planet. Like especially in like in Spain and like South America and fucking in Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic and shit like that. So
New York City.
New York, baby.
There's some lady in an apartment just
fuck yeah,
doing the damn thing.
Yeah. Hell fucking yeah. So a lot of that shit, well, more killings were reported around the island, and a lot of the farms reported a loss of animal life. So they thought that it was either A, the satanic cult, or it was B, the chupacabra. And they said that the reason why that they were just trying to like kind of make some sort of sense out of it was because A, they were bled dry, and there were a series of the small circular incisions. So we'll leave it at that with all, yeah. It's just like, that's like the history of it. I know that there have been many, many, many people who are like tracking the chupacabra and shit like that. And then like in 95, it was like a sci-fi horror film called Species, like pretty much like aligned with that, which was like scary as fuck because I'm like, okay guys, I was born in 92, learning about the fucking chupacabra back in like 97, 98, and then watching Species after it took 3 years to come out on VHS or on TV, and it was just like, what the fuck? Dude. And so the way that they described the chupacabra, like very, very early descriptions, was that they said that the creature stood upright and resembled a large reptilian kangaroo with huge red eyes. And that was only in Puerto Rico. That was the only place where they said that that's what it looked like. Kind of like the cuco. And I don't know too much about the cuco other than what I've heard from Nina and Gloria, because those are my Puerto Rican bitches and I love them. And so they're going to give me some more insight on that. And I totally want to like dip back into that until maybe like in an October episode or something,
that sounds very interesting.
And so apparently that's what people who like eyewitnesses, I guess, had said that they had seen. But according to other people, no actual specimens were found, and the skeptics suggested that quote unquote witnesses have been influenced by Species. So by the movie Species.
Okay.
So that's where they got that from. So it trickles all the way down onto if I'm not mistaken, to the Philippines as well. Yeah. Which is where I didn't know where that trickled down to, because I thought it was just Mexico and then it's a whole, of course, because we're Mexican, we're only going to speak about what's around us and, things like that. So it's like, I get it. So, there was apparently the chupacabras have like different species, and these types of chupacabras were smaller and stood upon 4 feet. So they were generally like canine in appearances, but they were hairless. But we've seen the movie Coco. Everybody's seen the hairless dogs there,
Mm-hmm.
and they're very majestic. They're beautiful dogs. I would love to have one of my own. And it's like, okay, I get it, but they said that it was different from those dogs that they've seen, and they thought that they were, coyotes or dogs or like wolves and shit like that. And
Having that like wild like nature.
pretty much. And they're just like, okay, that's just what it is. But it said that it was weird because they were like, why would the canines attack livestock? Because of their, um, that certain like prey was like pretty much like out of reach.
Mm-hmm.
So they were just like, that doesn't make any sense as to why the chupacabras were like an actual thing. I've had,
And in that manner too, like in the
Yeah.
way that they're killed.
yeah,
My thing with like pretty much any kind of like the El Chupacabra, or is it El or La?
El chupacabra.
Yeah, see that always trips me up because it's L, right? And that's like masculine, but
El
it
or
ends with
la
A.
chupacabra.
It's
I
very
think, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's L.
fucking that's a conspiracy of itself.
Yeah,
But,
Julia, I am going to need you to put a picture of the chupacabra
oh hell yeah.
from how they.
But they
So,
like how oh Jesus Christ.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, see, okay, but that's my whole thing. Like, things like Bigfoot or things like that, or even things like Nessie, where it's just like, people are like, oh, dude, that's stupid. Like, you just probably saw like this or whatever. But especially this guy, because I'm like, dude, evolution or whatever, like, nature is a scary bitch, dude. She out there doing the most and the least at the same time,
Yeah,
you know?
she's like little effort, maximum result.
Oh, absolutely. And it's just
Yeah.
like, if you think about how a lot of these, like, cryptozoologists, like, animal things or whatever, the little spooky dudes, they all kind of have attributes that it's like, we see in other animals that they have, like, camouflaging mechanism
Right.
that, like, some other species does, but then they also do this thing that's, like, similar to other species. So it's like, why couldn't there just be, like, a subsect of, like, canines, right? That's just, like, just a real fucking weirdo, dude. Like a class A, just like, this guy's not invited to Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
But like he exists, right? Like that's my whole thing where I'm like, oh, that's super like, and to bring to your point of like how it's like how they see Sasquatch and the Yeti like all different places around the world. I'm like, these are thematic things, like, are people just like having Zoom meetings in 1930, just being like,
Yeah.
all right, guys, we're all gonna see the
But
same
you
spooky
see,
shit.
I think where it kind of hits home for like a lot of people is because like a lot of people in Puerto Rico, Mexico, things like that, they own farms.
Yeah, that's like hits like
Yeah,
home to the
yeah,
whole feel
pretty
of
much.
things.
And it's just like, dude, that's like fucking with their shit. What the fuck? We want to know what the fuck this shit is, type of
Mhm.
thing, you know? So it's like, I get it.
Oof. Sorry. Damn, man. Oy. Did you want me to?
Whatever you
All right. The next one that I had, it's an OG. Like it's you look up urban legends and it's the one that you see. But I felt like
It's
needs to be
Rebecca
talked-
Gayheart.
No, this one is alligators in the motherfucking sewers, bro.
Bro!
Okay, so we've all heard this one, dude, like in all different kinds of variations. And again, rings true that it is somewhat plausible in a weird fucked up sense.
It's in Florida where all the fucked up things,
and New York.
all your fucked up dreams go to Florida and they come to life. I've come to that conclusion as a 28-year-old single Mexican female. Like,
So when I was researching this one, there's like your standard, like the urban legend
Right.
story itself.
Right.
And that one goes that there was a boy who's pretty young at the time. I don't know how. I don't know if he went to the pet store and was like, yo, give me that baby alligator. And if that's the case, how do you do that? Because I would also
where
like
did
to
this
hang out
take
with
place?
I guess in New York. That's where like it's either New York or Florida, because those are like the places that I've seen the most. But I don't know for like the the story that I saw just like gave more of context than like a specific location.
I'm just that person. I need to know the location. You know what I mean? Because even though it's an urban legend, I would like to know where this, like, Mothman, like, where it originated.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, so in this one, the boy has a baby alligator, and for some reason, it didn't specify, but it really would be information that I would like to know, decides to flush the baby alligator down the toilet. I don't know if he assumed it was dead, or just was like, I'm over this, or like, be with your people, I don't know.
He's like, I'm gonna set you free!
Yeah! He watched Free Willy and was like, oh, okay, I get it.
Oh, he's like, yeah, he played the soundtrack.
It's a Michael Jackson, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh shit, yeah. But so
that song "Roll With Me," I forgot who sang that song. Look around.
yeah, I don't know who sings that either, but I know which one you're talking
You know what
about.
I'm talking about? It's on all the VHSs.
Oh god, I almost spit. So he does that. No repercussions at the time, right? Because, like, fuck your plumbing bill or anything like that.
Right.
And so, this is where it just gets kooky, right? But then, like, I guess, hand to him being, like, a teenager or some shit. He's out and about playing baseball with his buds. Okay.
Okay, Sandlot.
Yeah, he's out in these streets and whatever, and then, like, a ball goes missing. It goes into, like, a
This
sewer
sounds
grate.
like the plot to The Sandlot.
It's like Sandlot and It met. It just was like, oh, here's a thing.
With Benny the Jet Rodriguez.
But instead of a clown, it's just a fucking, like, alligator, and he's like,
he's like,
yeah.
we gotta float down here.
We also
Chomp,
play
chomp.
jazz on Thursdays. I imagine every alligator is really into jazz.
I wasn't opposed to that. Like, I could totally see it. So
It's on Princess and the Frog.
yes,
like,
exactly,
yeah.
exactly.
So, yeah, then he sticks his hand to get the baseball, and then his, like, fully grown alligator somehow knew him and was like, oh, I'm out for blood, and takes off his arm. Silly as fuck, right? But
Sounds
then,
like the fucking plot to it.
yeah,
And that
no,
was
exactly.
Clearly Pennywise.
Yeah, exactly. But then I started doing more research, and it's like, it's super fucking weird. This kind of goes like, we're touching urban legends, ghost conspiracy,
It
dude.
was real enough for Georgie.
You're not Georgie, you're an alligator! Fuck. But, so, like, the New York City and, well, I know specifically, like, New York City, or at least they're, like, sewer maintenance people. I don't know if it was, like, the actual city.
Yeah.
But they, like, were like, yo, like, we've looked into this stuff, like, it's not a thing. I can assure you, all of us guys who've worked in this for, like, X amount of years,
Yeah.
like, whatever. So they're all, like, putting these credible people who, like, obviously work there, live there, like, oh, just all saying, like, no, this isn't a thing. But then it was insane because so many of these, like, they, like, in, what was it? I don't know the year, but I know it was in Cleveland. And they legitimately, it was
Cleveland.
7 years ago. And
Ted
they
Mosby.
found,
They gotta
found
sneak it in there.
an alligator in the sewer thing. But, however, they were like, I guess Cleveland at the time had just had like an ordinance where they needed to, anybody who had exotic pets needed to register them. So it was like found 2 days.
Exotic.
Exactly, yeah. Where he just like basically, whoever had this alligator probably just dumped it off, but put it in the sewer, which is like,
Because you know what he figured out? He figured out that he could not financially recover from this.
he's never gonna do it. It's never gonna happen. But no, yeah, like, it almost is this like weird concept of like an urban legend maybe not being necessarily true, but then taking on life after the fact. Like, people kind of get it
So
in
you
their
think
head
it
that
was-
it's an option.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And do you think that's like a sort of like a low key like boogeyman? Like,
Well, my
thing?
thing is that if like, unless it was like found in like, just like, you know, one of those drains that sometimes like go off to like, we have them over there like by El Jardín and stuff,
Right,
and
right.
sometimes they'll find alligators in those all the time. Like, oh, it was in this like pathway thing that leads to this, like fucking pipe that goes to like something important or whatever. Is basically like, they'll publicize those things, but it's just like, if they can get there, what's to say that like even a smaller one couldn't get further past like I think we've all watched Batman or Rick and Morty enough to like see like an idea of what a sewer looks like. And
Yeah.
there's always those little like where you could go through, but then it's got like the little
Or Ninja
gratings
Turtles.
and stuff. Yeah, exactly. And you're like, obviously Ninja Turtles,
Obviously,
bitch.
Ninja Turtles. Hello.
Like, get it together. They fucking live there, dude.
Why would you not state the obvious? Like,
Did you
Julia-
even do your research?
Yeah, like Julia's trying to think she's a step above everybody at this point.
Oh damn, I've been had. Oh shit, it's worse too because my own boyfriend like attributes himself to Michelangelo from that damn show.
I love it. Matt, if you're listening, fucking love you, dude.
And I'm also a poser. Sorry. Fuck. Shit. But yeah, dude, like I was honestly like when I looked into this one, I was expecting to see like more like stories of just like the urban legendy kind.
Right.
But it kept showing more things of just like, oh no, this is an actual fucking problem.
that fucking terrifies
But then
me.
everybody, all the like government officials or city officials or anything like that, like people who have weight of their opinion, they're all like, no, this isn't a thing. And I'm like, motherfucker, the media's exposing you.
Man, I don't know. That just kind of like pissed me off in a certain way because it's just like, so yes or no, like.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's obviously plausible. We've all kind of like seen it or heard it.
Yeah, absolutely. Second a day to remember fucking reference right here. All signs point to Lauderdale.
Fucking
Fort
Florida.
Yeah, Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, This is just a day to remember cast.
Yeah. I hope they
Thank
listen
you.
one day. Thank you. And see. No.
Fucking hey.
All right. So let's get to my more. I don't know why I always love hearing stories about this growing up, about lechuzas. I guess because me and my fucking morbid ass with death and like, things, there's like different legends or like different, I don't know how the fuck to describe it, but just like omens is the
Mhm.
word I was looking for. Like if a bird flies through your window,
Oh, yeah.
shit like that. So this kind of goes along those lines, but of course, we have to like hype it up to be more than what it is. But a lot of people say that a lot of this is true, so I totally get it. Like I totally believe this wholeheartedly, but this is considered an urban legend. Excuse me. So La lechuza. So lechuza translated in English is an owl. But if you give it the proper title of La lechuza, it is, excuse me, again, it is basically I've heard from different people that it's supposed to be a witch that takes on the form of an owl.
Oh, okay, yeah, I've heard that, like in different contexts. But yes,
Right,
I've heard of
right.
that thematic theme.
That's why my mom had a huge problem with me liking owls. That's why she never came over to my apartment. And so I started to do a little bit more investigative searches about this just so that way I could get to the heart of it, like the history and things like that. So basically the story of La Lechuza started forever and a day ago. And of course it's rooted in Mexican and Tejano folklore if you want to go that route. So apparently legend has it that Lechuza was a witch who was exposed for practicing devil's magic. So these are freaking brujas who were just like, yeah, let's take this form of an animal, because I believe like just growing up in the Mexican culture and things like that, that witches took form of like different things.
Yeah.
And the lechuza was probably the most popular one. So apparently that witches who had transformed themselves into lechuzas or whatever, they weren't happy with it, so they ended up murdering the witches who did that. Yeah, just straight the fuck up. This is like bigger than Salem witch trials. So it seemed reasonable. So basically the first witch who had done this for her revenge or her vengeance or whatever, as soon as they had killed her like as a regular woman, as a witch or whatever, she came back as a creepy bird lady. In fact, she was a ship. They classified her as a shapeshifter who can appear as an ordinary witch during the day, and then boom, she transformed into a big ass bird with a woman's face. There were two different versions of that I've heard. Is that once a lechuza, not once a lechuza, once a witch had transformed into a lechuza, you could tell it was that specific kind was by her face. So apparently, the face of the owl looked like an old lady,
Mm.
and that's how they knew that it was a bad one or whatever. But like even now, like people like Mexicans don't like owls. They're like, fuck that owl. I'm gonna fucking kill it.
I don't trust it.
Yeah, I don't trust it. So, to give you an idea of what we're basically talking about, so like I said, the lechuza meant owl, and it's a huge. So the lechuza is basically a huge owl lady who kills people. Um, but the thing I love about the aspects and the things that people talked about with the lechuza was like her description, her when she only comes out, like just things that she poses as, and just there's just so much shit about her. So this one's gonna take a while, guys. So just fucking buckle up and let me talk my shit real quick. So, like I said at the beginning, her description varies. So some people describe this lechuza as a large creature, and they say that she's up to 7 feet tall, but you know every Mexican is short, so that could literally be a normal height like mine. I'm the fucking weirdo who's like peaked at 5'7". I was this fucking age in the 7th grade. I mean age. I need to quit drinking so much. I was this height in the 7th grade. Drink to that. So apparently, they described it as 7 feet tall with 15-foot wingspan.
Jesus.
I don't even. What is 15 feet? How big is
That's
15?
like 3 of me.
That's 3 of Julia. Let me actually look it to see how big. Fucking. Oh my god, that's just a ridiculous amount. 15 feet is how long?
I mean, 15.
Oh,
I'm an asshole.
15 feet is like,
Reference or something?
yeah, 15 feet for reference.
We out here working on Google searches,
Yeah,
y'all.
seriously, I feel like such a badass right now. Like, psh. How do you denote your feet?
What
according
a
to
weird
Google?
concept.
Yeah. Oh, 15 feet? Like a trampoline.
Jeez.
A fucking trampoline is 15 feet wide.
Yikes, bro. That's like Mothman shit.
So, it's the Mexican Mothman. Yeah, basically. So, just basically think of a fucking 7-foot tall fucking person with a trampoline on each fucking side. Okay? And it had the face of an older woman. Like I said, others described it as a small bird. They just said that it was small as fuck with the face of an old woman. No matter what, this shit is fucking scary as fuck. Just no matter how way you look at it, like to me, I think that the size has to depict what measurement that the shit of scary is on. Like, are you gonna lose a family member? Is somebody gonna die? Or, shit like that.
It's like a degree of wrath.
Yeah, it's a degree of wrath. Absolutely. 7 layers of fucking hell. Like, just straight up. What up, Dante? Like, so apparently the bitch only comes out at night. And they say,
as we all do.
Yeah, pretty much. And I mean, that's a pretty common thing. Like the boogeyman, kukui, shit like that comes out at nighttime, whatever. And that she flies through the air or perches on trees. She's looking for things, mostly people, to kill.
Jesus.
Yeah, I know. It's fucking insane, right? Allegedly, if you hear the bird screech at night, that's an omen that the lechuza is out and looking for her next meal. So,
Dude, that's literally an episode of Scooby-Doo. I'm sorry. Like, Scooby-Doo must really love Mexican lore. 'Cause,
yeah,
like,
seriously.
there's an episode, I don't know, it's back in, like, the 60s or 70s or some shit, but um, there's these two owls that will go fly out in the night sky, and they will just screech something fierce before they, like, fuck up your life or
Yeah.
whatever. And it's ominous as hell.
Mm-hmm. And like from the stories that I've heard, my dad, for example, because I straight up came in the room in my dad's room yesterday. My mom and dad's room, my dad was there, and I was just like, "Hey, I know you have a Lechuza story, so let's eat real quick, and then we're gonna talk about this shit." And he was like, "How do you know I have a Lechuza story?" I go, "Every Mexican does." So my dad goes in and he tells me like this wild ass story about how they had just came from his one of his tia's funerals on my grandmother's side, and that apparently perched up on my uncle's fucking patio when they were moving stuff, because apparently they got a lot of stuff after his aunt had passed away.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as they like came up to the door, there was a freaking owl up there, just like fucking perched up with their fucking wings out and just like, la, 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 la. And this happened apparently when Joey was really little. Like he was probably like 7 months, and they had just gotten back from San Antonio. So my dad's like, "Oh, that's a little weird, blah blah blah," And I was like, "Fuck, that's scary. I have to pee, Dad." um, so yeah. So, and also allegedly that she poses as a baby.
A baby?
As a fucking baby, dude.
That's horrifying. Because I could imagine, like, especially, like, if you're trying to do harm to, like, some woman, like, it's like, that's like movie-esque where it's like,
up.
Oh, you hear this baby crying, you go check it out, and then all of a sudden, like, your
Let me
life's
tell you.
fucked up.
Let me tell you. Let me finish. So, usually if she finds a target, she can, like, pick up on certain things, because now she is not going with basic human instincts, she's going with animal instincts, and she hits people where it hurts.
Vulnerability is
vulnerability. So your vulnerability is your parental instincts, just automatically. So apparently when she finds her target, she disguises her voice as a baby and will cry outside of the door.
That's fucking terrifying.
That
dude.
is fucking crazy. So she's waiting to pounce on you and swoop you away forever, basically.
Me with all my dates. Just saying.
Story of my life. Oh man, that was like that one part of VHS. If you guys have never seen that horror movie, I highly suggest.
Oh yeah, that lady.
Yeah.
Ah!
Dude, that part fucked me up. Oh god, fucked it up.
Oh god.
I fucked my own shit, guys. Oh my god, that's a lot of O's. Okay,
You went to the Matrix, dude.
yeah, I really did. So apparently she is known to carry away full-grown men within her town.
Jeez.
Yes. So if you find unexplained scratches on your door, well, you know who was waiting for you.
I thought you were gonna be like, if you find unexplained scratches on your man, you know what's going on. I'm like, yo, this sounds like a fucking scam.
Like, we're not even... I'm not accusing
what
you
hoe
of
put
cheating.
this out?
What Lechuza picked you up last night, bitch. Like, no, fuck you. You and that Lechuza had some shit going on because she brought you back. Maybe she found you as annoying as I did. Like,
Fucking A.
But yeah, so apparently, and my grandparents have said that they've had scratches at the door. They've heard scratches at the door. But, like, the thing is that my family has always taught me, don't acknowledge it. If you see no evil...
Yeah, paying mind to shit always, like, intensifies
exactly.
anything.
Paranormal activity, like, shit like that. So, we've also heard that they whistle outside of your window. So, and they'll screech super. Their owl screeches in general are just like super fucking annoying. So, excuse me again. So you're gonna get so fucking irritated that you'll open your window and then boom, fucking bam, she'll pounce on you and scratch your eyes out.
God, that's fucking scary.
That's terrifying. I don't think that I would ever go to the window, and I'm so grateful to the goddess and the goddesses, all the gods and all the fucking universals to offer, that I'm a deep ass fucking sleeper.
Oh,
And
yeah,
then
dude.
I'll fucking like just straight the fuck up, not even open my window and be like, what the fuck? And then I'll scare away that lechuza because I'm just like so pissed off. Like,
I got curlers
no,
in your hair.
no,
Like,
just straight the fuck up. And then it's just like, if I ever got to that point where I open up the window, me and that lechuza are fucking fighting, bitch. You're fighting
damn,
with my
I'm
sleep.
gonna like book this as like
Yeah.
a fight. I want to see you go at it with this bitch. Just like one-on-one,
Hell
no
yeah.
gloves.
Hell yeah, no fucking gloves, bitch. I'll fight that lechuza. Like, come out your real form, bitch. Let's see if you got some hands.
You'll have to go to your
You-
like nail
you might have
lady
some
and get extra
talents.
long.
Yeah. Shout out to my brother-in-law because I'm gonna have to have him like give me some extra fucking talons and shit. But nah, I will straight up and be like, bitch, come on, fight me like a real bitch. And like, fuck your talons, hoe. Like, I wanna fucking fight you like skin to skin, not fucking skin to feather. Like,
Fuck that shit. This ain't Hogwarts, motherfucker.
Yeah. And something weird that I also found out is that she's gonna run you off the road. I've never heard this part from any family member of it about this, but I read it online and I thought it was super interesting that if she's particularly hungry, old thirsty ass bitch, she has no problem selecting a car filled with people as her next meal, and allegedly she'll run you off the road so she can fucking eat you. So
You know, that really, like, I don't know if you've ever heard of, like, The Lady in White. There's so many different versions. It's honestly one of my favorites. I'm honestly surprised I didn't pick it. But, she's, like, there's so many things that she could, like, mean or whatever, but there is a thematic story of her walking, like, a very desolate-ass road, like, imagine just like being out in the middle of fucking nowhere.
yeah.
It's nighttime, you've got your brights on, whatever, because
Yeah,
you can't
yeah,
see shit. And then all of a sudden you're looking off in the distance like, yo, is that a bitch? And then she's like looking like the fucking lady from The Ring, just like, "Ah," and just fucking like turns around and comes at you like a wildebeest. I'm like, that's not cool, dude.
Yeah, no, dude. That's
But
like
also
fucking-
just the same, I've always wanted to dress up like a crazy person, like just like white gown, fucking just pale ass face, just spooky, like my normal everyday
I
eyeliner
thought you were
in
gonna
6th
ask to
grade.
borrow an outfit of mine.
It's like, I need your clothes for when you cosplayed as Lestat.
Yeah. Hey, I love him.
Oh, dude, I fucking do too. He's zaddy, as you say.
Yes, an beach.
That's how you know it's real.
Yeah, pretty much. So normally you might want to swerve to avoid hitting a bird, but maybe with this one you just go ahead and fucking hit it and just go balls to the wall. That
Like
would be
deer.
yeah, no, fuck that, dude. Fuck all that. I don't know. I would never let a bitch run me off the road. Especially if I knew it was a lechuza. Like, I told you guys, we fucking fighting.
Yeah, have you ever seen that YouTube video that's like, it's not a woman or an owl or anything like that, but it's very like of that mood where I don't know, it's just something that's on the internet. It's someone like driving down a road or maybe a freeway at night, and there's like this creature like thing just running full fucking force right next to it, just like it looks like just like a blank
You're gonna
monster.
send me that. You're gonna have
I
to
am,
send me
dude.
that. I'm not gonna sleep tonight.
It's like it's one of those things where you're like, okay, like this probably isn't real, but this still is gonna fuck me up.
Yeah, seriously. Just straight the fuck up. And apparently they say not to shoot her. They say not to shoot her.
You'll shoot your eye out.
Yeah. What up, Ralphie? That's fragile. So legend has it that if you try to shoot her dead, you'll end up dead instead. I just don't understand that logic, but I guess it's an urban legend, whatever. So yeah, I would try to shoot the bitch, and I don't know. And apparently, if you dream about owls in general, and I've heard this so many a fucking times from my tias, from my cousins, from my mother, from just different well-respected women in my culture, that if you dream about lechuzas, they try to find, like, automatically, if I ever tell my mom, I don't think I've ever dreamt of owls, but I know that if that day were to ever come and I dreamt of an owl and I tell her, like, she will be calling every fucking body and just figuring out who's sick, who's this, who's that, whatever, because apparently if you dream about them, then somebody in the family's gonna die.
Mm.
And that's fucking scary because you know how like I'm a fucking hippie about my dreams.
Dude,
and shit,
literally,
you know?
anytime I fucking see Beatles because of fucking practical magic, I'm like, get the fuck out of here! I love someone.
Yeah, one green, one brown eye, bitch. We're making midnight margaritas.
That movie is so fucking good.
I'm gonna watch this shit. Straight up. So, and then there's also been times where we've heard that if they're not fucking with you, from what we've been told when we were kids, if they're not fucking with you, they're there to warn you about something. And so we've known this since we were kids. They're like, you know what? Don't fuck with it. It's not gonna fuck with you, type of thing. It's like just us being at peace with nature, just in general. You know, it's just like, you know, fucking Mufasa giving that big ass speech to Simba about, you know, the antelopes. We respect the antelopes all the way up to the ants, like blah blah blah, you know, shit like that. So apparently, just seeing this bitch indicates there's something more sinister that's about to approach to you. So that's why I go around blessing houses and shit like that. Like,
Fuck yeah.
just straight the fuck up, get some sage, or like, dude, if you guys don't know where to get sage, just
How Light the Moon, we have it.
highlight the moon, hit them up first. If you guys are just like, meh, roll up some newspaper, light that shit up, and start blessing your fucking house, bro. Like, we fucking people who bless, we don't give a fuck as long as there's
Let
a
me
flame
ask
burning.
you this.
Yeah.
So, as far as like, because I mean, I have like a standard knowledge of like blessings, but
Yeah.
where does like holy water fall in like, okay, we're gonna do this first, and then this, and then this, and then where does that like be like, okay?
So, okay, so like with blessings and stuff like that, I enjoy it. I enjoy blessing houses. I enjoy cleansing. I enjoy things like that. I need to feel and sense the level
Mhm.
of what's going on. And the
Oh, that makes
extremity.
sense because yeah, if you feel like some hardcore shit,
If
you're
it's
like,
some
oh, I'm gonna
hardcore
go
shit,
to.
I was like, let me call the Pope. Like,
Let me call Jesus.
Let me call my homie Jesus real fucking quick, and then I'll go accordingly. If you guys want to know about my blessings and stuff like that, feel free to message me. I will totally go into full detail about it. But yeah, no, I just honestly feel like it's a level, and I think we'll probably make an episode about that, about how we feel about, you know,
Yeah.
staging and, you know, things like that.
All
Some
that kind of
hippie-ass
stuff.
shit. Fuck yeah. So yeah. So oh, where was I? So if you were to see the Lechusa or whatever, something sinister is or something dangerous, and it doesn't necessarily have to do with death. So that could go along the lines of like a hurricane or a tornado or anything like that. So even if you do see her and she doesn't hurt you, well, some shit's about
You
to go
know,
down.
dude, that's wild. That's so like comparable to Mothman. I mean, I hate to bring up my boy, but like, no,
Oh, I
don't.
fucking love Mothman.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
got me into Mothman. I fucking live for it.
But
yeah.
they would talk about how like that town in Virginia where they like the initial things that happen, right? I've watched this like 3-hour documentary about it where they basically talk about how there was like multiple bridges that led to this town in Virginia,
Right,
and that
right.
there was like initial sightings that they would see Mothman on the bridge, and that meant something was like super fucked up about to happen. And I shit you not, dude, because I watched that like probably in 2012 or 13,
Mhm.
like Chillerama era. But yeah, I was on the 610 bridge or whatever, and I shit you not, dude, like
You're gonna have to make me pee, and it's not from the beer. It's like you like scaring the fuck out of me right
well,
now.
I saw this like big ass bird, right, where I kind of like jokingly to myself was like, "Oh, it's Mothman. Like that's just a really big ass bird." Like, and it perched up all like looming and just creepy, and I was like, "What the fuck?" Like it didn't look like a crane or any of the normal little suspects. I was like, "You're just a big ass bird." And then like I shit you not, like 2 months later, like I think Harvey happened or something like that.
Oh shit!
And I was like, "Oh shit, did we get Mothman?"
Yeah, seriously, that's a Lechusa equivalent, bro.
Yeah, exactly. Like I think that like I mean, obviously Virginia's not that close to
Yeah,
Mexico,
but no, but I think
but
these
there's
all make these
cultural, yeah.
connections.
It's
Yeah,
like how Greek and
absolutely.
Roman mythology had so much
yes,
going on.
so
Actually,
hardcore.
most like ancient cultures have an sus amount of weird like things that correlate between them, and
Yeah,
they're so far from
yeah.
each other. And it's like,
That's
what
why
is
I'm.
that?
Yeah, I classify myself as La Sirena. I'm a siren.
Oh
I
hell
lure
yeah!
men to their death.
I love that. I feel like if I was anything, I'd be a mermaid, just because I want to be in the ocean. I want to be cool, and also I want fins.
And I like the fact that I wouldn't have to worry about my hair in the water.
Yeah, dude, I'd be like built-in fucking products or something.
I
like,
know. I was like, oh, you guys want to give me naturally frizzy hair in the water? Not gonna happen.
not today, Satan.
Yeah, not today, Triton. Like,
right, or it's like Hades or some shit.
yeah, some shit. I don't know. But yeah, so basically, like the Lechusa, like that's what that bitch is all about. And I believe in shape shifting and shit like that. That just might
Especially
be...
in like that goes to the exact same point in pretty much any culture's version of like witchcraft or something. Animal shape shit. Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
Native Americans,
yeah.
Celts, like your Nords, like all of most societies have these kind of themes of like animals play roles in like either being a part of like the attuned like god nature, or just being like omens of this like special thing to come, like especially because back then life consisted of like farming the land and making sure you didn't get killed.
Yeah.
And so everything, like I've been watching Vikings lately and they use crows a lot for that.
Oh shit.
Whereas like crows, I think, is supposed to be like this allusion to Thor or something.
Yes, absolutely. And like Game of Thrones, I'm gonna throw it in there. Fucking the One-Eyed Raven.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking Bran.
Yeah, see, no,
you didn't come fucking defeat the White Walker, you son of a bitch.
You would probably really like Vikings because I feel like it's obviously more historical accurate.
Yeah,
but it's that time period.
But you see, like that's the thing. I have to make sure that anything that I watch that is based on history goes to the Joey approval. If you guys have never met my brother, my brother will literally hate certain things because of it not being historically accurate. He hated the movie Pearl Harbor because he's like, that's not historically accurate.
Dude, I can attest to that though, because I'm the same way with true crime shit.
Yeah,
I'm like, rude.
Seriously. And so that's why it has to meet his standard. But he's like, dude, Vikings is real fucking good.
They actually go out of their way to kind of like have moments.
Shit. That was epic.
They have moments that they'll like obviously be showing you like historical like ways of which the people did certain things or like tools they use.
I love that.
But they do it so beautifully that it's like so just like you never miss a beat with the storyline. You're like, oh, that wasn't weird or anything like that. And you're like, then you finish a season or you finish an episode and you're like, I know a sus amount about Nords now. Like, weird. I call them Nords because that's what they're called in Skyrim, but it's basically just like anywhere from like Iceland, Norway, like those real white people.
Okay. Hello.
I think nowadays they're called the Aryan Brotherhood.
I fucking can't.
Oh, it's so bad.
So bad.
All right, so the next one I have for you is called High Beams.
High Beams.
I'll give you the story first and then kind of like the background of that. So the story goes, this is another woman in a car.
Oh, fuck. We got consistency.
Yeah. So, okay, it really didn't specify like where or anything. It's just woman's leaving. She's out on the road, kind of like more of a country road kind of situation, not like a Spencer Highway deal.
So Spencer Highway can get totally country.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Circa 98.
So she's like, what the fuck?
Oh my god, we have things falling in my room.
So yeah, they she's out on the road or whatever, and she notices this truck behind her. And so the truck like basically starts out where it's like kind of tailgating her, right? And she's like, oh, you know, that's annoying, whatever, what the fuck? Like, we're out on a country road, just pass my bitch ass. And then she like notices that he's like getting a little bit more chaotic and stuff. He starts like flashing his lights, his high beams at her. And so she's
I
like,
would have
what the
just pulled
fuck?
over.
Yeah, exactly. And so she gets really like in this fearful state, and he's like being really aggressive. The high beams are going, like heart's racing. He even starts ramming into her car at some point.
This is some death proof shit.
Yeah, dude.
He was the horniest motherfucker on the road.
Right, yeah. So she's like, fuck this. I gotta get away. Like, I ain't about this life. So she ends up like, so there's different, so okay. The versions of this kind of deter at some point where at this point she arrives like safely at a destination. It's typically her house. And either at that point she calls the cops, or she confronts her husband who's there at her house to be like, yo, I need some protection. This is the situation. Not good, right? So the police, or the husband, however you want to look at it, arrive at the scene, scope it out. They notice that the man that was in the truck is still close to the vicinity of the house. They approach him and they start questioning him, and he's like being really frantic, and they're like, what the fuck? Like, what's the deal with that? You were aggressive to us, so what's the deal? Like, you've scared the shit out of us, so what's the deal?
Yeah, for sure. Because I'll be like, what the fuck, motherfucker?
Yeah. So she then finds out, because the driver explains to either the police or the husband that the reason that he was acting that way was that every time that he was like flashing his high beam, or that he was like ramming into her, there was a man in the back of her car that was reaching up to kill her, and that he was scaring her off. So plot twist, he's actually like a cool dude, right? Yeah, and so they find the man that's like just hiding in the back seat. Yeah. So what gets weird about this one is that it's like it's a very popular one. I don't know if you know of this movie. It came out in like 1998, but it's called Urban Legend. And that's how the movie starts.
Rebecca Gayheart. Yeah. No. I love me some Rebecca Gayheart, minus the whole tragedy that she had encountered or whatever. I am 1,010% Jawbreaker Rebecca Gayheart, and I live for Noxema Rebecca Gayheart. Yeah,
yes!
Like, yes, bitch. Like, I am all about that. Yeah. Holy shit, dude! That just movie like blew my mind.
I think, yeah, because they have multiple ones, but I think it's the original.
The original.
It starts out where the story is because there's other versions of, instead of a truck driver, it's a gas station attendant who noticed someone's like creeping in or whatever. Because
it's just like, to me, like during that time was so pivotal, like not just in our lives, but in horror movie like.
They were exploring new ideas of like the new, instead of like, oh, man in woods with knife, he's scary.
Yeah, that's why it was like so pivotal, because it was just like, such cult classics like Jawbreaker, and then it was like Scream, and then it was I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Yeah, I Know What You Did Last Summer, and what is the other one? Fudge, I can't think of it.
Creepers.
Not that one, but it's another one that's like kind of that genre, where it's like you have this what was contemporary at the time plots of horror going on, and these looks of like, oh, okay, like, well, all these things that we've always heard as a child, like let's breathe that into some life of some real scary shit, you know?
Yeah.
That's what I like about that movie a lot. But I also feel like it's very underrated in the scheme of things.
Absolutely.
But yeah, there's another version of this that instead of, so it's the woman, and she's like, I guess going on like a long trip or something like that. She's in the car for a while.
Yeah.
So at some point she's like, she stops somewhere, I think it's a gas station or some shit, and this random ass person just like comes up to her car and is like screaming at her, but it's incoherent, like gibberish. And she's like, what the fuck, you know? And then the person's like banging on her car, like,
fuck that.
Yeah, and so she like obviously is like, I'm gonna amscray. I'm just in a gas station in the middle of fucking nowhere. And then so, she's on a long trip, so she obviously has to stop for gas longer. And you would obviously assume that like the first time this happens, you're like, okay, obviously I got out of buttfuck Egypt, like I'm moving down the road, I'm like hours away from this fuckery, right? But then every single place that she stopped, the same person would come up and do the exact same thing to her. Like, never fully contact her, never get into the car, but just like this harassment, right? So
Fuck.
finally she goes to the cops and she's like, dude, like, what's the deal? And she's like, I need to get back home or like somewhere safe. So the cops are like, okay, we'll take you. And so the cops go into her car to get her stuff so that they can escort her back to wherever the fuck she belongs or whatever. I guess just fuck the car back then, but
Yeah.
like we'll FedEx that to you later.
Yeah, seriously. Oh my god, this story is like really intense. Like,
Yeah. So the cops go into the car to get her stuff. They find the killer behind the seat. Turns out that the person who had been harassing her the whole time was a ghost of one of his previous victims. Yeah, dude. So there's
Guys, if you guys could see my face right now, it's a combination of my O face and a big old like, what the fuck?
Yeah, dude, this one has some levels, and there's like,
Dude,
it's been adapted a lot. So you said earlier in the beginning of this cast that you're like, oh, dude, I'm just gonna chill with some Simpsons, but
oh baby, I'm sorry, my dog. I'm sorry, y'all. Y'all had to hear my dog.
Oh goodness, I thought that was you. I was like, girl, it's gonna be okay. It's just urban legends.
I'm sorry, I accidentally stepped on my dog. So
Shaggy. But yeah, they have an episode like in the 92 season or whatever, where what is his name? Otis, I think is the character. Correct me if I'm wrong. That's a Simpsons character, yes.
Otis?
Maybe. Well, yeah, no, it's Otto. I'm sorry.
Otto. Otto man.
Yeah, he's telling Lisa like bedtime stories or whatever, and basically he tells her that urban legend, and it kind of plays out in Simpsons world or whatever.
Nice.
And I'm like, that's cute. And for it being in the movie, and there was like an actual lot of adaptations of like, oh, the biggest one, that fucking book from when we were kids, the scary stories
to tell in the dark.
It's in there.
Oh my god.
Yeah, which I was like,
I thought
sorry,
but I was more obsessed with the lady eating the liver, and then she goes to the morgue to go get the actual liver. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Liver alone!
Yes.
Dude, yeah, that one was the one that got me the most. Because as soon as I read it, I was like, oh, dude, chills are crawling up my spine. Like, that's fucked up.
I loved reading, like, scary books or whatever.
Because I always check my
I would
backseat.
purposely, like, read, like, super, like, quote-unquote nerdy books, which benefited me in the long run. But I would, like, read those books on purpose just so I can advance up into more. And then I would look up horror stories and, like, you know, scary stories and, like, little myths and urban legends and things like that. Just so that way I could get my fix. And I'm just a very morbid kid.
Oh,
and yeah, I was just a very morbid kid, and you guys know the rest. My emo face, whatever.
Yes, we all have got MySpaces.
Hello. Make Damn Sure was still my last song.
Hell yeah, fantastic. But yeah, man, that one's really gonna get me, because I am always like bugging about people in the back of my seat. Like, I feel like I've watched, like, that's just a theme in horror movies nowadays, where it's like, oh man, that's just gonna be an absolute bad time for you. If I ever encountered that situation, I'd be like, oh, screw this, like, tuck and roll.
Expect the unexpected.
I honestly need to just install like an extendo glove in my middle like part of my like console, so that if anybody comes,
I solely don't go. Guys, I was all about going on road trips by myself, even knowing my horror movie background, which is why I took every single precaution. Every gas station I went to, I made sure I was on the phone. I made sure of my surroundings, things like that. Like, it's not even the fact that I was just solely obsessed, which was probably a good 60%, but 40% was like honestly for my own protection, because I go at things at my own pace. I do whatever I want. I, go explore things to my own caliber. But I'm not an idiot, and I don't tell people. I mean, I tell people. I don't not tell people like where I'm going and things like that. Everybody knows. They're like, "Hey, text me whenever you get there," or like things like that. And I'm very like true to my word when it comes to that shit. Especially if I'm traveling out of town, everybody wants to know where I'm at, things like that. I am a lone wolf in that whole thing. I'm a lone chupacabra, and I like to go about things in my own way and things like that. So everybody's like, "Look, I know you like to travel. Make sure that your car's good." And I'm just like, I get it. I fully respect it, and I totally get it. So that's why I just always kind of make that point. So that's why I think women just need to be like, I hate the fact that I have to say that women have to be careful of their surroundings.
No, but it's
This
the
shit
facts of
sucks.
what the
Urban
setup
legend.
is. And to go with your point though, is just like you were saying earlier, there was a woman on the north side who it happened to her. Like, it's a real thing.
It is. It really fucking is. And it's so terrible that I'm just like, damn, I would have been like more excited if it was a woman that was behind the fucking vehicle.
Yeah,
like,
it's never a woman who's doing the bad shit.
it makes me sad. Maybe it's because we get away with it. If we were fully invested,
it's because we have periods and we know how to get blood out of clothes, man. Like,
Simple Science, follow us on everywhere so you can learn these life hacks.
yeah, seriously. Just 101
Oh
murder.
man, seriously. Cut. Whew. Guys, we just totally went up and down every fucking corner and alley that you could ever fucking think of for this episode of Urban Legends on Drinks with Deg. Of course, we're going to talk about all kinds of shit on here, so this was just like a little insight and things like that. But next week we're going to try to keep it a little lighter because it's, kind of towards the end of summer. We're going to still hit those high waves of fucking heat. And women, I want to hear about your upkeep. I want to know what you guys are doing to like keep it looking flawless. Like, I see all y'all's Instagrams and y'all's fucking Snapchat pictures. I'm like, how do you do that without a filter? I don't know.
Also, I'm curious to like how anyone's routine has changed in quarantine. Like,
oh yeah,
how are you keeping yourself
absolutely.
feeling fabulous and all that when no one's gonna see you?
Exactly. I just make sure I look good from the mask up.
Hell yeah.
Usually it's from the waist up and it's like whatever down there.
Yeah.
And it's just like from here up. Yeah, it's pretty much from the mask up. How are you guys, and even guys?
Yeah.
You guys are like hella
Especially with like
beards.
a lot of y'all have outgroomed yourselves. Like, let me know how you keeping it together.
Yeah, exactly. Like mentally, like even mentally, guys. Like if any of my fellas that are listening to the podcast or anything, let me know how you guys are keeping sane. I know you guys are a lot, and it's just proven statistics that my guys are more essential in the whole playing field in that. So guys, I want to know how you guys are keeping sane with work and like home life and your kids and like your marriage and like things like that. Or if you're single, I want to know how you're doing with that because I'm trying to date and it's like quarantine and it's really hard for me. So we're gonna dive into all of that next week, definitely, for sure, guys. So just drop your comments. Don't forget to like the pages, Instagram, fucking
YouTube.
Facebook, YouTube, number 1.
Apple Podcast.
Oh, baby, we celebrating Apple Podcast tonight. That's why I'm getting extra drunk, is because your girl is finally on fucking Apple Podcast. Woo! And Spotify, and don't forget, like I said, Facebook, Twitter. You guys can shoot us an email. You guys can leave comments. Please, please, please like, subscribe, share all of my shit. I encourage it. I love it. You guys are amazing. Tonight's gonna be a fucking wrap, man, and then next week we're gonna talk about upkeep, especially for my girls out there, guys. I want to hear your perspectives too. So just hit me up.